Morning.
How's
Morning.
all of you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing great, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you, John? How are you doing?
Great.
Awesome, awesome. Good to know. It's Friday, the last day of the week, but for us that doesn't mean nothing, right? We're realtors. We work weekends. You know, that's when our money is made most of the time because most of our clients have a job during the week, and the weekends is the time that they're available. So we got to take advantage of whatever time we have. So, did you guys do your homework from the last session, which was Wednesday? You weren't here Wednesday, right?
I didn't know.
Okay.
I did not.
What about you, John? Did you do your homework?
No, this is my first time logging on.
Oh, perfect. Okay. I thought you were. Are you an agent already with our office?
I just joined.
Awesome. Congratulations, brother. Welcome to the team. So, I'll give you a little quick snapshot of who I am. I mean, since this is your first time, and I'm sure that you don't know my history. I've been with KW for 10 years, 10 or 11 years, somewhere in that area. I've been licensed for around that long, about 12 years. Been in the business. I was in the business for about a year and a half before I got licensed. I just started getting busy. And the guy I was working with, he's like, dude, you got to get your license, you know, because we can't keep doing this. Because I was just bringing them leads, you know, and I finally got my license and went full time. You know, from day one, it was full time. Taken Ignite many times, have taught it many times, and the program is definitely, here's the thing, if you take any type of training, doesn't matter what type of training it is, if you take it seriously to the point where you do everything to the T, and I mean everything, don't skip a beat, you will see the results of this program, hands down. You know, it's like somebody being on a diet and going to the gym and being consistent, they're going to get in shape, right? It's the same thing with anything that has to do with training in the business. You focus, you give it time, you commit to it, and you do the items that are needed, you're going to see results by default, right? So you want to make sure that whatever homework assignments are in the book per chapter, I mean, there's a total of 12, so you're going to have 12 assignments. Here's the thing, every time you have an assignment, part of that assignment is adding 10 people to your database. So by the time you're done with this program, it's 12 sessions, how many contacts should you have?
At least 120.
120 minimum, right? That's actually a lot of people to add to your database. You know, now imagine if you did that consistently 365 days out of the year. That's a lot of contacts, right? And there's agents that do that. You know, they try to generate a certain amount of leads per week. You know, anywhere between 10 to 20 to 25 leads a week to add to your database, because adding to your database is super important. Super important. Your database is your inventory. That make sense? It's your inventory. So if you don't have any inventory to go out there and sell the inventory that's listed, who do you talk to, right? Obviously, you're going to have to go after cold market. But here's the thing, there was a study done by the California Association of Realtors that a seasoned agent with over 1,000 people in their database will typically get about 80% of business from it on a yearly basis. That's a lot of business. That's the greatest amount of business that you're going to generate on a yearly basis, coming from your own database. The people that already know you, right? So 20% of it would come from anybody else, people that you meet, referrals, or whatever the case might be, you know. So that's why it's so important that your database is maintained, it's nurtured, it's taken care of, it's polished and made look nice. You know, make sure that you keep on top of the people that you're supposed to be talking to, because here's the thing, if you don't, they won't. If you don't stay on top of it, they won't remember you, right? So you want to make sure that you do the tasks that your database, in this case Command, gives you to do when you put a person on a campaign, right? Time to call, time to email, time to do this, time to do that. Because it keeps you fresh in mind, on top of mind when you're dealing with these people. And I know that you guys have heard this many times before, but I never get tired of reiterating this because it's extremely important. I found myself in a situation where I kind of didn't take care of my database in the past, right? And next thing you know, I see my client working with another agent. I'm like, what the heck? My own fault. That was my fault. You know, I deserve that. I should have been working my database. And it's happened, you know. As a matter of fact, about 3 weeks ago, I'm doing cold calls, right, on a list of leads that I got from a lead source. And one of the people that I call, I start dialing the number right on that list on my phone, and one of my contacts pops up. And I'm like, oh crap, I have this number saved already. Like, oh wow. So I friggin' called and I said, hey Erica, it's George. She actually is one of my neighbors. And I said, you're looking to move? He's like, yeah, we're thinking about buying another house. I was like, how come you didn't tell me? She's like, we forgot. My fault, right? My fault. So now I'm like on top of her because I know that her and her husband are in that mindset, right? And that's what we're going to talk about today is working with sellers, right? Because they're thinking of selling their house and obviously buying another one. So right now there is a big movement in this market right now where people are doing exactly that. They're buying a house. They're selling their current home and buying another one, right? Why? Why are they doing this? They're taking advantage of the market. You know, a lot of people that have had their house for many years have a substantial amount of equity right now, and they want to cash out. And if it gives them the opportunity of buying a bigger or newer home, that's exactly what they're doing. So you see that a lot in this market right now. A lot of people say, well, I'm going to sell high, but I'm going to buy high also. Absolutely you are. You know, it's not like you're going to buy a house cheaper than what you're selling. I mean, the market dictates what the price is. But here's what I tell people. Yeah, you're going to sell your house high, and you're going to buy high also, but the interest rates are low right now. So it'll be a balance, right? It'll be a balance in their mortgage payment. So they might be able to acquire another home for might be around the same mortgage payment that they might have because their current interest rate might be a little bit higher, right? So it just depends on the scenarios, you know. But you fall into the situation where a lot of people are taking advantage of the market. So, how long have you been in business?
5 months. I think.
Okay, so both of you are fairly new. Okay, you're brand new licensed also, John?
Yeah, like last month, May.
Okay, so you're brand new. Awesome, awesome. You didn't go through my school then? I didn't see your face in one of my classrooms. What's going on there, buddy?
The first. I saw the emails. Like, oh, they're doing Zoom. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so do you have the lesson in front of you, John?
Yeah, I can pull it up.
Okay, so we're going to be in number 6, which is sell your listings. We're going to be talking about that. So why do you guys think listings are so important in this business?
Leverage.
Leverage. You hit it right on the head. You hit that nail right on the head. Listings are absolutely 100% leverage. Why?
Because I guess you would say you gain more clients from listings rather than
absolutely,
buyers.
100%. It's a 2-for-1 deal, we always say. You put a sign in front of a house, you get clients, you get people calling your sign. So when we say it's 2-for-1 deal, you got the selling side and you got the listing side, right? So you might be representing a buyer as well on the same property or another property for that matter, right? So listings are absolutely leveraged, guys, 100%. Here's the best part. You don't have to drive around town showing properties, right? Because, I mean, especially in this market, representing a buyer right now is tough. I'm not going to lie. You know, it is tough because there's so much competition going on right now. Just like you have a buyer that's qualified at 400 or 500,000, there's freaking 20 other agents with the same situation. And now you're competing with a whole bunch of people on one listing. You know, it's a seller's market right now. So the demand is very high, the inventory is very low. So yes, absolutely, listings are definitely leveraged, especially in a seller's market. So the more real estate you have, meaning the more signs you're going to have out, the more listings you have under your contract, under your belt, the more money you're gonna make ultimately. Awesome. All right, let's get into the lesson, and let's go to page number 5 and read what today's expectations are. So, cappers in trading, discover the techniques for and advantages of staging a listing to get it sold. Review the elements of your 14-point marketing plan action. Learn the essentials of great service to sellers from the moment they sign the listing agreement all the way through the closing and beyond. Study strategies and tips for great communication and problem solving. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay. So here's the thing. I personally will drive anywhere pretty much for a listing. Why? Because it sells by itself, right? I don't have to be driving around. As a matter of fact, I have an appointment today at 6:30 in South Central LA to list a $700,000 house, right? So, am I willing to drive an hour and a half to the neighborhood that I grew up? I grew up in South Central, right? For a listing that might potentially make me a 5-figure check? Heck yeah, right? Absolutely. If it was a buyer, on the other hand, I would refer it out. Right? I would definitely refer it out to a KW agent down in that area. But for a listing, I'll list a property anywhere, right? So again, like you said, it's the leverage, right? It's the leverage that it'll give me. So let's get into the lesson. So let's get on to page number 8, and we're gonna start just like Wednesday with a few minutes of cold calling. Or calling your database, okay? John, have you worked on any type of database with Command? Have you gotten into Command yet?
I got nothing.
Nothing. Okay. Great.
Actually, today I should be getting my MLS, being able to log on that.
Okay, so you got an appointment with Go See Natalie over at Gabar then.
Yeah. Yeah, well, with Drew Hawkins, he's going to be coming up to the Ridgecrest office.
Oh, is that where you're in Ridgecrest?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Okay, awesome.
So, hopefully he's there, because he suggested doing DocuSign, like sending the information, but I'm not even trained on that. So
yeah,
I'm a straight newbie, man.
So once you get everything familiarized, bro, it's gonna be icing on the cake. And yes, and Drew is actually on his way out there. Right before I walked into the room, I was on the phone with him. So he's heading over to Ridgecrest right now. So you're obviously gonna have to observe right now, but we're gonna do 10 minutes of lead generation. Lead generation is exactly that. You're generating leads, right? So we're gonna if you get on the phone through whatever people you have on your phone, make a couple calls. You know, let people that you know, and don't choose and pick your people. Start from the top, bro. Start from the top, whether you talk to people a few weeks ago, a few days ago, or a few years ago, who cares, right? You're looking for people that might potentially be interested in doing something in the real estate business and give you the opportunity of representing them as their agent, whether they're buying or selling. Even refinancing, you know. I never turn people down if they're, hey George, we want to refinance our house, what's our best option? Great question. You know what? I'm not a lender, but let me connect you with one of my preferred lenders that can actually answer your questions. You know, even though I'm not going to make any money on that, it's customer service, right? You're nurturing your clients. You know, you're going above and beyond. So let's get, in your case, John, call, and here's the thing. I know that you're completely brand new, and you don't know anything that has to do with scripts or anything, but when Drew goes out there today, he's definitely gonna touch on you having scripts, practicing scripts, learning the language in the scripts, and then making it your own. You're mastering a script so you don't sound like you're like a computer. You know what I mean? Hi, this is George. Are you looking to sell? You don't want to sound like that. Hey, Mr. Sellers, George Perez from Keller Williams. How you doing? Right? It's just making it your own. I do that all the time. I used to. Now it's like, for example, the leads that I was going over a couple of weeks ago, Hey, this is George. Can I speak to whatever name, right? Can I speak to John? Hey, John, I noticed that you were on my website a couple of weeks ago looking for a house. Are you still looking to buy? Right? And I like completely throw a curveball at them and allow them to like, they'll be like, yeah, who is this?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's how they answer it.
Yeah, but I don't give them an opportunity. I go straight into it, right? So it's definitely something that Scripps teaches you. It definitely teaches you. So let's get on the phone for 10 minutes. We're looking for listings, okay? In your case, John, whatever contacts you have on your phone, hey friend, it's John. Just want to let you know that I just got my real estate license. I'm trying to get into active into the market, and just wanted to see if you had any questions pertaining to real estate.
I actually have somebody in mind who wants to buy a house. So
Okay.
that's why I'm trying to trying to learn so I can get him that house. He's
Absolutely.
gonna get a house down in Bakersfield.
Okay. Little ways down the road from you, but hey.
Yeah, it's a 2-hour drive. But
Yeah, my brother lives out there, so I know.
I commute anyways.
Yeah,
so.
Bakersfield I know very well. So you'll definitely once Drew gets out there, he'll definitely touch bases with you on those scripts. And if he doesn't mention it, you mention it. All right.
Sure.
So let's give it 10 minutes. Let's make some calls, and then we'll get back on the lesson so we can follow it. I'm gonna go ahead and mute you for now, Mark John.
Okay.
Hey Yesenia, how are you? I'm good. Hey, I'm in this class right now called Ignite right here in the office. I'm just calling my contacts right now, seeing if anybody's looking to buy or sell. I know you were in the process, and do you know anybody that might be looking to buy or sell real estate?
Negative.
It's all right. Nothing wrong. The whole point is that there's an intent behind it. You have to be intentional when working in business. All right, guys, let's get into page number 11 in the lesson. Get your hand in the game. Successful marketing and servicing a listing is very important to you and your client. Get your head in the game. So far, you have worked hard to find the business and get the appointment. Once you have landed the appointment, you demonstrate to the seller your value as their listing agent, and they sign the listing agreement with you. Now what? It's time to act on what you promised your sellers in your listing presentation. It's more than just sticking a sign in the yard. Successfully marketing and servicing a listing is very important to your client and could be positive, long-lasting benefits for you. Number 1, get the listing sold by attracting buyers to the listing. Do that job well, and you will also generate additional buyers. Again, we're talking about leverage, right? Mm-hmm. Buyers who will buy other listings and sellers who will see you as an effective listing agent. Number 2, meet your seller's needs in a focused and communicative way. This will build your reputation as a top listing agent, generating repeat business and referrals from the seller, and create many more paydays ahead. So as you can see, there's a little funnel at the bottom of the page, right? And that's exactly how the businesses work. So how do you start? You start with leads. Leads turn into appointments, that turn into agreements, that turn into contracts. And then contracts turn into paychecks, right? There's so much truth behind this. Like it says, whatever you promise your client, make sure you do it, right? If you say you're going to do an open house, do an open house. A lot of people, when they have listings, they work the listing by just putting a sign in front of the house. But there's more to it. You have to do some marketing, advertising. You have to be proactive, right? So a lot of agents work listings by what we call the 3 Ps. They put a sign in front, they pray for a buyer, and then they place it in contract, right? You want to work that fourth P, is being proactive. Work the business. Like I said, listings are leverage, right? And yes, right now in this market, it doesn't matter what you put on the market, it's going to sell, right? You can put a tent in the middle of the freaking desert, and you know you're going to get an offer on it, man. You know, but in a regular market, in a buyer's market, you want to leverage that listing, you know, by generating more listings, by letting the neighbors know what you're selling the house for, or buyers, right? And having maybe the opportunity of either double lending it or represent a buyer in another purchase of another house. Make sense?
Makes sense.
So it's super important. Let's go to the next page. Make it happen. Marketing and servicing your listings. Your service to your sellers begins the moment they sign the listing agreement with you. You are now their advocate, their agent, and their fiduciary. Fiduciary, a person who is legally or ethically entrusted to manage money or property between two or more parties. Being the seller's fiduciary means servicing and marketing their home in the most effective way. There are 3 steps in this critical phase of your listing relationship with sellers. Stage the property, which typically we don't audit. Okay, the majority of the properties that you'll see out here, they're owner occupied, right? So there's no need for staging because they have their own furniture. Here's the thing: some sellers have too much furniture, right? So whenever I meet with a seller, after I list a contract, I'll give them my recommendation as to what to do to the property. If the property needs any fixing, address those items before we get into contract. Because here's the thing: you're going to have an appraiser going out to the property. The appraiser is going to be checking for many items, and you want to make sure that your house is okay in the standards of an appraiser, that you won't have things being called out. So you can't have any exposed wood. You can't have any issues with like your electrical or exposed wires or broken windows or like super stained carpet. Like that's a no-no. You know, because you will find into stuff like that. You'll have sellers that they never clean their carpet. And it's like they remove their furniture, and under the furniture it looks nice, but then everything around it is like, good Lord! It's like, did you just throw a freaking bag of dirt in front of your freaking couch? It's crazy, right? So those are things that as an agent, you want to make sure that you let your client know. And I know sometimes it can be tough trying to let the client know. But here's the thing. You wouldn't be doing something. You wouldn't be doing them any favor not being honest. Remember, you have a fiduciary duty to represent your client at the fullest level, right? And making sure, and in order for you to sell their property at the best price, you want to make sure the property shows well. You want to make sure that the property is going to give you the opportunity of selling it at that price. So if you have a property that looks like junk, what kind of offers do you think you're going to get, right? So you want to make sure that you're at least looking like the competition. You're looking nice enough to make sure that the property is going to move. Page 13, stage the property. We're not going to talk about that. Let's go to the next page. Still talking about staging. Let's go to page 16. Market the listing. Do me a favor, go ahead and read that page. All loud.
Okay. Put your listing on your buyer's radar screens. Your 14-step marketing plan, which you presented to your seller in your listing consultation, is designed to produce maximum exposure quickly and allow you to capture as many buyers as possible. Number 1, price the home competitively with the current market and price trends.
Okay, stop right there. So this is extremely important. Pricing the property correctly is extremely important, okay? Sellers sometimes make the error of listing a property way above what the property is actually worth. Here's the thing, we don't make the market, we just dictate it, right? The price of a property at the end of the day is literally made by what the market says the property is worth. But the ultimate value in that property is going to be whatever a buyer is willing to pay and whatever a seller is willing to accept, right? So pricing a property by just 10% above what the market says is worth, you'll end up losing about 30% of people that are looking for it, right? You don't want to shoot yourself in the foot. You want to, like it says, you want to price it competitively. Price it at a price where you know you're going to get action. There's going to be showings. There's going to be people interested. There's going to be people saving it to their portals on the MLS. There's going to be action behind that property. And when you overprice it, you prohibit that from happening. So you want to make sure that whenever you're having a listing appointment, you discuss that with your client. You know, right now in this market, I mean, yes, if it's overpriced, you're not going to get any activity. But if you price it well, you're gonna not only are you gonna have activity, you're gonna have multiple offers, right? And you want options. You want to have options for your client. It makes you look good. It makes you look like, wow, this guy really went above and beyond, and that's exactly what you should do. But the market is gonna help you, right? The market is gonna definitely help you. So go ahead.
Okay, number 2, advise sellers on how to attract buyers by showing their home in the best possible light.
100%. You want to make sure that a seller's property doesn't look like crap every time that the property is available. You know, I always whenever I go through the house at the end of my listing presentation, my contract signed, I always advise people if the property is too cluttered, I always advise them, hey, let's make some room, let's clear some stuff up, the countertops in the kitchen. You know, make sure that the property is in order, that the beds are made, things of that sort. Because it can be discouraging to some people when you walk into a house and the house is a mess, right? It's like, I don't want to live in here. You know, they can't see themselves being there because if the property has a lot of stuff and it's not in order, it kills the desirability coming from the buyers. You know, so you definitely have to make sure the property is up to par. Go ahead, number 3.
Number 3, place for sale signs with property flyers easily accessible to drive-by buyers. Number 4, respond to all buyers' inquiries immediately.
100%. You want to make sure that you reply. That's business knocking on your door. So definitely, go ahead.
Okay. Number 5, optimize a home's internet presence by posting your property in Keller Williams listing system, local and global MLS systems, and on social media with plenty of photographs and description of the property.
Yes. Here's the thing, guys. Social media nowadays it's something that's humongous. It's huge. A lot of social media advertising is free. You don't have to pay for it. For example, through Facebook, there's a whole bunch of different groups that are involved in real estate or sales or areas or whatever the case might be, and they'll allow you to post any marketing material on there. I've generated leads from posting in groups on Facebook without having to spend a dime, right? So it's something that's extremely important. And yes, obviously it's going to go on the MLS because it's required that you put a property in the MLS when you list it on that, unless the seller does not want you to and they sign an exclusion. But then how would you sell it, right? So you want to make sure that you hit any type of platform on the internet at all times. Photography is very important in my opinion. Okay, here's the example that I always use. Obviously, you guys have been to a restaurant before, right? You too, John, right? Okay.
Of course.
They give you a menu, and the menu's full of pictures, and you don't even read. The first thing you do is you sculpt the pictures of the food, right?
Yeah.
And before you even start reading, you already made a decision as to what you want to eat because your eyes ate it already. You buy with your eyes, guys. You eat with your eyes first before you order the food. Photography is so important when it comes to buying stuff, right? Real estate is definitely important when it comes to photography. Here's the thing. These things are made with extremely high-tech cameras, right? They're still not a professional camera though. Hire a photographer. And I know that when agents are starting the business, Might be a little bit tough, but that's a sacrifice you just might have to do. We have a company called InView that works with us, and because we're KW agents, we get a discount. So typically it's about $150 to $200 out here in the Alamo Valley for a photo session, and that includes an aerial shots, right? So why not spend that extra $150 to make you look like a freaking rock star? Like I said, you buy with your eyes first. So if you provide high quality pictures on a listing, not only does your listing look good, you're going to look extremely professional with your clients, right? So it's something that's extremely important. I will not take pictures with my phone. I used to. I'm not going to lie, when I first started in the business, until I learned the value behind professional photography. World of difference. Here's the thing also, guys. You don't have time to go out there and take photos from a property. The 15-20 minutes that you are taking to take photos, that's 15-20 minutes that you could have dedicated to lead generation. That's a possible. You could pick up another buyer, another seller. Those 15-20 minutes can essentially make you thousands of dollars in business. You know, because the average paycheck right now is what? It's about 10 grand. So imagine if in those 20 minutes you could pick up a lead that's going to generate that type of check for you. Is it worth going out to take pictures yourself? Heck no. Hire somebody to do that. You know, hire somebody to provide the services that you're going to need. Okay, go ahead.
6, market the home on multiple websites, including your own site, My KW local office, and KW national sites to attract both local and out-of-town buyers. 7, post the home on your branded KW app. 8, create flyers and comment cards for viewers of the property. 9, distribute just listed notices to neighbors, encouraging them to tell family and friends about the home.
Here's the thing, with that, when you're marketing your listings to the people around the neighborhood, what you're doing is creating walking billboards. Okay? Here's the thing. There's a study through the California Association of Realtors and the National Association of Realtors that people move to an area 80% of the time because they know somebody in the area. So more than likely, if you go around the neighborhood and you let people know, hey, I just listed a house over on 123 Main Street, who do you know that might be able that would be interested in moving into your neighborhood? Or who do you know that you would like as a neighbor? Right? It's just a script that you use. Most of the time, you'll find somebody in the neighborhood that knows somebody that's looking. And again, I go back to, it gives you the opportunity of maybe double-ending the property and double up on the commission. Instead of making 10, you make 20 grand, right? So it's that part right there is super important. Is letting the neighborhood where you're listing a property know that the property is for sale. Go ahead.
11, include the home in your company and MLS tours, allowing other agents to see the home for themselves. Next, create an open house schedule and market and host the open house to promote the property to prospective buyers. 13, target active buyers and investors in your database who are looking for homes in this price range and area. And 14, provide the seller with weekly updates detailing your marketing efforts, including comments from the prospective buyers and agents who have visited the home.
Absolutely. So you want to be in touch with your clients and let them know what's going on. Any updates. I typically update my clients on Mondays. You know, give them a call, hey, this is what we had in the last week, or I'll send them an email, let them know the activity that we have, if we have any prospective buyers. Any activity, it keeps your clients engaged. You know, you never want to go without letting your clients know what's going on. Let's go to the next page. Your turn, marketing action steps. Number 1. Okay, so this has to do with your 10-4. We'll pass on that one because that's obviously something that you're going to do. Let's go to the next page, which is page 18. I'm having trouble reading right now. Forgot my glasses. Hold an effective open house. Part of your marketing strategy and one of the 14 steps is to show the property through an open house. Holding an open house is an excellent way to market your listing and market yourself as a real estate expert. Open houses benefit the seller by attracting buyers to their home. The more visits a house gets, the faster it would sell. Buyers love open houses. Open houses benefit the agent holding the open house as a key lead generation strategy because they offer a relatively safe, non-aggressive sales environment. They provide opportunity for great face-to-face prospecting. The open house event and the time leading up to and after provides an opportunity for you to build relationships, market your name to a geographic farm, and secure a neighborhood's mindshare. Here's the thing. So open houses is the easiest way for somebody to generate leads. The reason why, they come to you. You don't go to them, they come to you. You put signs around the neighborhood, you market the open house throughout the week, you door knock it, let neighbors know that you're having an open house. You do all the strategies necessary to make sure that you have an effective event, right? And you wait for people to come. So it's the easiest way because it's, first of all, it's non-threatening, like it says here. Non-aggressive sales environment. Why? Because they're coming to you. And you could do it week after week. You know, I remember when I first started in the business, let me rephrase that. When I first started at KW, because I was already 1 year in the business prior to coming to KW. I came to KW with not a lot on my plate. And I needed to generate money, right? So I started doing open houses literally every single day. I would find vacant properties that were available through our agents, and I would ask them, hey, do you mind if I do an open house tomorrow? No, go ahead. I remember doing open houses at 6 in the morning, and I'm going to tell you why. There's a school right here in Rancho Vista, a couple miles down the road, and there was a property that one of our agents had for sale across the street from where the kids were being dropped off. Light bulbs went off. I said, dude, I gotta do an open house when the parents are driving by and dropping off their kids. I'll have coffee, I'll have donuts. Sure enough, that's exactly what I did. I set up an open house at 6:30 in the morning, and people couldn't believe that I was there that early, right? The parents were like, wow, this is you. I was like, hey man, I gotta be where people are, right? We always say that in the business. So, because I knew that there was going to be a ton of people driving through that school, dropping off their kids, I wanted to catch that traffic into the open house. And I literally was across the street from the gate where the kids were being dropped off. And I ended up getting a ton of people. So, since I knew that that worked, I did it in the afternoon as well, that same day. So, I held 2 open houses for about a 2-hour window each time, 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours at night. I mean, in the afternoon when the kids were being picked up, and I picked up a ton of leads, you know. So you get creative, right? You get creative. What works for you, you know, based on the situation or what the property has to offer. What is the best thing that you're going to have? So open houses can be a very, very extremely effective way of lead generation. You know, you just got to be consistent. So we always say in KW, we always emphasize, you want to find yourself 3 ways that are going to lead generate. Excuse me, 3 ways to lead generate. An open house can give you more than 3 ways. Here's why. You're holding the event, right? The day, let's say Saturday is typically the day we hold open houses. So the open house is your first lead generation source. You door knock the neighborhood. That's your second source. You cold call. That's your third source. You can advertise it online or on social media. That's 4 sources. So out of an open house, I just mentioned 4 ways that you can use a house to lead generate. Non-threatening, right? So you find 3 niches that work for you. Open houses for me worked amazingly at the beginning. Right? Like I said, I was doing open houses 7 days a week. I remember when I first started here, I used to be called the open house king. Because it was like, I just got good at it. You know, I said, damn, this is freaking easy. You know, so I bought a whole bunch of open house signs, which I still have, and I just went to work. You know, I just started doing open houses left and right, and it worked. It really did.
Open houses for other sales agents?
Absolutely. 100%, yes. You know, here's the thing. You're not there to sell the house. You're there to generate leads. The house is going to sell regardless. Right? So you're there to generate, that's your main task with an open house, is to generate other people that want to do business. Yeah, you're trying to show the property, but you're trying to generate somebody that's looking. And sometimes people that show up to open houses that are actually thinking of buying or selling, 80% of the time they have no agent. And if they do, their agent's not on top of their game. Right? So that gives you an opportunity of representing them. You know, and you want to make sure that through the process of doing that open house, you have a sign-in sheet. Now with COVID, you want to make sure that people are signed in, right? So it's like I said, it's an easy, non-threatening way of generating leads for your business. Make sense?
Makes sense.
All right. Let's go to the next page, which is going to be number 21. So communicate with your sellers. Do you see that, John?
Page 21, yeah.
Okay, can you do me a favor and read that top part?
Remember, you have told the sellers it is about them, and you have promised them a 10++ customer experience. You have agreed to communicate in the ways that work for the sellers, whether once a week, once a day, by phone, email, or text message. Update your sellers regularly from listing to closing, including the status of your marketing efforts, feedback from the home showings, and any offers on the table, and the steps leading to a successful closing once an offer is accepted. Be sure to block time in your calendar for this follow-up with your sellers, and be sure these updates happen, even if there's no news to report. This may look like just words, but it represents the covenant or agreement that you have entered into with your sellers. Great communication is not just about agreement over what you communicated, it's equally about agreement on how and when you will communicate. There is no such thing as over-communicating when it comes to providing outstanding service to your clients.
100%. 100%. Like, I mean, we already talked about this a few minutes ago, but I will reiterate that communication is big. Now, whether it's good communication or if it's bad communication, meaning delivering good news or bad news, communicate. Here's the thing. Keeping your clients updated on everything will separate you from the rest. The problem's not going to go away. Right? If you have an issue, it's finding the solution. And sometimes talking to your client might help you find a solution. Don't keep your clients in the dark, whether it's good news or bad news. Right? At the end of the day, if it's bad news, it still has to be delivered. Right? Sometimes what I'll do, let's say that I'm in a transaction, the listing agent or the other agent lets me know, hey, we got a problem. Before I call my client, I try to analyze what the problem is and try to find a solution so I can deliver bad and good news, right? Hey, Mr. Seller, you know what? We have this issue, but here's the good news. I found a solution to the problem. Now, not only does it make you look like you know what you're doing, it makes you look like a freaking professional, right? Because you're giving you're solving issues for your clients. Here's the thing. Whenever I list a property, I always tell people, look, let me do all the thinking, let me do all the worrying. You sit back and relax. Let me take care of you. Let me go to work. Right? Because people are like, oh, this is going to be so stressful. This is going to be. Let me take the stress off your plate. I got you. Right? So when you come to your client with solutions to any issues that could be on the table, it just makes you look so much better. Right? And it allows you to.
A question about that, George.
Sure, go ahead, John.
Listing the property, right? So say you got a listing.
Sure.
And your client is coming up with a price. Are you going to generate a CMA, get some comparables with the other houses on the market? So,
absolutely. We actually went over this yesterday. So I'm sorry, on Wednesday. Yeah, which was chapter 5. I highly advise you to read chapter 5 on the book road because it talks about the CMA. But to answer your question, yes, this is a lot of people have a misconception. Go ahead.
You give them a range of what the price of the house would be, right? Do you bring in an appraiser before?
No. Here's the thing: an appraiser costs money, right?
Yeah.
So there's a formula that appraisers use, and I use it as well to try and get to the best price possible on a listing. So you're looking at a 1 mile radius from the subject property, 90 days back on solds, 50% on 15% on the square feet, up and down. So if you have 1,000 square feet, add 15%, which is 150 feet up and 150 feet down, right? Years, I do 10 up, 10 down. So if it's 2000, I go to 1990 and 2010. So I give myself a 20-year threshold, right? And then I search to see what's available. I don't put square feet, I don't put anything else, right? And I try to find listings that have sold within the last 90 days that compare to the property in square feet and close to the year, right? And I'll see where they're at. Now, if a property has a pool, then I make an adjustment. A pool will give you an extra $10,000 to $15,000 in value. And if my listing doesn't have that, then I'll see what the pool house sold for and deduct that 10 grand to ultimately use that as a comp. So typically an appraiser will use anywhere between 3 to 5 properties that have sold that compare to the property to determine what the value is. I do the same thing. And 99.9% of the time, I'm right dead on, right? Sometimes I'll have a discrepancy in the value when I have an appraiser doing an appraisal that's not from the area. It happens, right? Say it again, John?
So when does the appraiser get involved?
The appraiser gets involved when the buyer signs their loan disclosures. Okay, so whenever a buyer goes and you accept an offer from a buyer, you open escrow, right? Lender finds out. The lender now knows that we are under contract. The lender now has 72 hours to sign what's called the loan disclosures with the buyer. Once the loan disclosures are signed, now it's time for them to order the appraisal. The appraisal is paid by the buyer. Okay, so the bank orders the appraisal once the loan disclosures are signed, and then the appraiser will get a hold of the listing agent, because obviously they're going to need access to the property, right? Appraisal gets done, and it typically takes anywhere between 72 hours to a week, meaning 5 days, for that appraiser to go back to their quality control and then back to the lender, right? So that's the process of how an appraiser comes out there. Some people will hire an appraiser on their own just to find out what the property is worth. As a matter of fact, I had a call a couple days ago from the husband of one of my students wants to find out what their home is worth. He wanted to know if I knew any appraisers. I said, what do you want to know? What are you trying to do? He said, well, I'm trying to refi. I want to see what my property's worth, and I want to get an appraisal. I said, I wouldn't recommend you do that. He said, what, refi? No, I said, get an appraisal, because you're going to pay for an appraisal right now just to find out what your house is worth, and then when you refi, you're going to have to pay for another appraisal. Okay, because the bank's going to want one for them, not for you. So you're going to end up spending another $1,000 on 2 appraisals when you only need one, and you only need it when you open the transaction for the refi, right? So I said, I'll tell you what, let me do comps for you, and it'll be exactly what the appraiser's going to do. It's not going to cost you anything. So that's exactly what we did. I did the comps. He saw what the house was worth. I didn't make any money out of that. His wife is my student, and out of a favor, I went ahead and did that. She calls me yesterday, and she's like, hey, we got the market analysis that you did for us. We like what we see, and we're actually debating whether to refi or sell. And I'm like, okay, right? So now you want to sell. So now I just opened up the opportunity of me being their listing agent, right? Just because I provided comps at no cost. So it makes sense. Did that answer your question, John?
Oh, yes, you did. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Let's go to page number 23. Customer experience. You want to read that for me, bro?
Yeah, customer experience. Customers do business with you because of your service and the perceived value they get from that. They want to do business with people that help them feel comfortable with making one of the biggest decisions in their life. An excellent customer experience will set you apart.
Always under promise and over deliver. This idea should be a hallmark of your business. Here are some examples. If you say you will communicate once a week, communicate twice a week or until your seller asks you to scale down. Say your staging expert will be in touch with the sellers that week and then make sure the stager calls them the next day.
Keep going to the next page.
Be solutions oriented. Hone your problem resolution skills. Make it a habit never to communicate with a client about a problem without having one or more solutions to recommend. Your clients are looking to you to be the expert to have the answers. What kind of problems might arise that you can apply solutions to and be seen as a customer's hero?
You see what I was talking about just a few minutes ago? It's about finding a solution to the problem that you arise before you come to them, right? Like I said, it just makes you look like the expert. You know, Mr. Seller, I found myself in this situation before. This is how we solved it. Boom. And the seller might be like, you know what, that's a great idea, right? Yeah, let's do that, right? And it just might be the solution to the situation that you might have at hand. Here's the thing, guys. Issues will arise. You will never find a perfect escrow. Maybe once in a great while, right? But there's going to be things that are, the escrow gets delayed, the customers are asking for too many repairs, whatever it might be, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's always going to be something. And how you communicate with your clients is how your end result is going to be, right? So that communication not only is with your clients, but it's going to be with the other party as well. Right? So I always tell people when I'm a listing agent, I say, look, if you have any issues with your client, meaning with your buyer, let me know. I always prepare my clients prior to listing a property of what can happen. So if something does happen, they've already been warned, right? So it makes it easier as an agent to go in there and say, hey, this is what we're dealing with and this is how we're going to fix it. Right? Communication is big. Not only between your clients, but with the other parties, everybody involved. You know, and I always, like I said, I always tell, look, if you have a problem, just let me know. I already prepared my clients for this. Right? It's going to make their transaction run so much smoother. 100%. So it's super, super, super extremely important. I can't stop saying this, that you become a problem solver. Right? It makes you look like the expert. Make sense? All right, let's go to the next page. Super service. Let's see. Providing a terrific customer experience is the cement that holds a great seller business together. Super is a great acronym for helping to remember the critical dimensions of great service. Communication tips: sincerity, be honest and reliable, understanding. Focus on their needs, wants, and values. Predictability. Deliver what is promised and expected. Exceptionally. Provide extraordinary and uncommon. And responsiveness. Report quickly and reliably. Providing super service forges relationships with customers that are the foundation for growth, including repeat business and referrals. Stay in touch with your sellers using the touch campaigns in EDGE, in this case Command, including personal contact, and you can become their top of mind resource. Okay, so the best customer service that you can provide to a client, the more business you're going to get. I have a client that works at Olive Garden right here at the mall. Right, I sold him his house probably 3 or 4 years ago. Right. I provided exceptional customer service, I want to say, because there's not a month that this guy does not refer me to somebody. Like literally, I had a call last week from a guy that works with him. He's like, hey, I got your number from Junior, and he said that you helped him find a house, and I want to do the same thing. So I know for a fact that he's obviously referring me because he liked the customer service that I provided to him and his family. Otherwise, he would have been like, you know what, screw George, that guy is horrible. You know? Obviously, I did something right. Because I've gotten so much repeat business from him, it's not even funny. And when you do that, you're guaranteed to get referrals. So it's definitely something that you, we're in the customer service business, guys. We're here to service people, right? We're here to build relationships. We're here to build rapport. And you want to make sure that those relationships become long-term relationships, right? And it all starts with the type of customer service that you provide to them. So, number 26, let's see, your turn, listing presentation 2, break into groups of 2, work with different partner, that the last time we, okay, so it's just simply practicing a listing presentation, which we're going to skip right now because you guys are fairly new. And obviously you, John, you've never done a listing presentation. I hope you make 1 million of them in the near future because that's going to mean that you're going to generate a ton of listings. And that equals a ton of money, right? So, have you ever been on a listing appointment?
I'm working on one this week.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. By the way, John, it's only, God, oh, there he is. Raise your hand. Stand up so you can say hi to John.
What's up, John?
Camera's over here.
Hey.
Juan, nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you.
It's just, there's somebody else online, Tikar. I don't know, we haven't heard from him or her. I don't know if they can hear us. Okay, page 27, putting it all together.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry about that.
No worries, no worries, no worries. You have any questions, Tikar?
Oh no, I'm just trying to keep up with you guys.
All right, okay. So let us know if anything pops in your head or if you see any ahas or anything, just speak up and let us know.
I do got a question, my man.
Sure.
I seen on the email you could download worksheets, but that's totally different than what you're looking at. What book is that, and how can I get that? What you're reading?
So Ignite actually in your back office through KW, there's a section where there's a university section, and there's other programs that are available for KW. And I will talk to Mike about this because Mike is our technology guy. So either her or actually no, talk to Victoria. There's a section that you can actually go in there, and there's actually something called an Ignite Student Toolkit. In that toolkit, you'll have a whole bunch of worksheets, you'll have scripts, you have a whole bunch of stuff that you can download and use to your benefit. So I would highly advise you to reach out to either Mike or Victoria at the office. 538-2800 is the number here at the office. And let them know how you can access those tools. You should be on track to get them. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome, awesome. So guys, we actually are at the end of this thing. That was pretty fast. You know? So putting it all together, you're going to create an action plan. An action plan for what? To generate leads. Leads that are primarily listings, as we're talking about that in this lesson. Right? What's the first thing to do? Lead generation. Make some calls. Call the people in your database. Call people on your phone. Here's the thing, guys. I have over 900 people listed on my phone. 900. Do you think I would probably have somebody that would be interested in pursuing something?
Definitely.
Of course, right? And I'm sure that some of you might have, if not 900, maybe more than that. Right? There might be people on your phone that you probably haven't talked to. Like at the beginning I was talking to John. There might be people on your phone that you haven't talked to in years. Guess what? It's an opportunity to call them and find out how they're doing. Hey, by the way, buddy, just got my real estate license. You want to buy a house? Why not? It gives you a reason to calm these people down. Right? So don't let that stop you from reaching out, because who knows, the person that you haven't talked to in years just might be your next client. And that's the honest truth. You know, find out what they're up to. You take the list of people in your phone to your advantage. Why? They know you. It's not a cold call. Right? They already know you. You already have a relationship with them. It's going to be easier. Trust me. it'll be easier than making. To me, it's easier to call somebody that I know and let them know what I'm doing than to call somebody that I don't know and try to acquire business. Either way, you still gotta do it. But as you do it and you do it and you do it, it'll give you good practice because it's somebody that you know. So the point where you make a call to somebody that you don't, you won't stumble because of the practice that you've already had. All right, guys. Any questions other than what we've answered? Did you guys? What was any ahas? Anything that just made a light bulb go off?
The over delivering section, the tell them you're gonna call them once a week and you call them twice a week. That I feel like that impacts them a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Under promise and over
There you go,
deliver.
yeah.
100%. You know, it's like I'm gonna bring a burger and you bring two. You know what I mean?
Because you're still hungry, there you go.
Yeah. I say I'm bringing 2 tacos and you bring a dozen. You know what I mean? You under promise and over delivered.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How about you, John? Any questions? Any light bulbs go off?
No, the communication is key.
Right.
Numbers game. So the more you put yourself out there, the more leads you get. So
100%. Takar, am I pronouncing your name correctly?
No, you're not, but it's all good. It's a Ty-Car.
Tykar. Okay, I apologize for that. Any light bulbs or any questions or anything that just made you think a little bit on the advanced side?
Yeah, just same thing that John said. To communicate with them, with your client, whether it's good or bad news, and then just really be in that solution. Try to come with 1, 2,
Yes.
maybe even 3 things that you can offer with that.
100%,
bro.
Man, it'll make you look, like I said, not only is it going to make you look like an expert, it's going to make you look like a freaking rock star, man. Because they're going to say, damn, Tykar, John, Juan, those guys, they know what the heck they're doing, man. I'm going to recommend them to my family and my friends. Right? All right, guys, that is the end of the lesson for today. Monday will be working with buyers, section 7. Enjoy the rest of your day. Don't work too hard. Stay cool and enjoy your weekend.
Happy Friday.
Yeah, enjoy your weekend.
Thank you,
man.
guys.
Appreciate
Happy
the time.
Friday. Talk to you guys soon.
just take care.
Yeah, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.